Բարի լույս, good light։ Վերջապես քինիի փառատոնը այս տարի պիտի կայանա եւ ինչպես կտեսնեք առաջինը այս դաղավարից։ Անուշ վերջապես այս կորոնայի խնդիրները վերջացան and we are going forward with the GiniFest festivities.
I'm so excited, Stepan. This is so amazing.
Let's say Genats.
Genats.
Genats irakanչուրին Հարաճիգա 2 ժամերու ընթացքին ագնադես պիտելակ բավականի դեղեցությունների իհարկե անկրենով պիտելան եւ ինչու՞ չէ հուլիսի 25-ին Castaways-ի մեջ միասին գանտիբինք եւ իրարու կսենք գնաց
One more time.
One more time.
Today's program is promising to be packed with lots of information, lots of education. We have asked our wine experts to share their tips, to share their experiences and knowledge on so many topics that we get asked. For example, wine and food pairing, which proper glassware to choose, and so much more. So get ready for an amazing program. I can't wait.
Իմիջայլոց բոլոր մարդիկ, որ Instagram-ի վրա, Facebook-ի վրա կոյություն ունի հիմա, խնդրեմ դարաձեցեք եւ Անուշի մակցեզի կբացատրի թե ինչու համար եթե դուք դարաձեք այս նկարահանումը ինչ կստանաք
So yes, in fact today I was thinking how to engage our audience and how to get them excited about the in-person GiniFest, which is going to take place July 25th in Castaway, Burbank. We are going to give away 2 VIP tickets, and that's a $300 value. VIP tickets are $150. You're going to come and enjoy everything that GiniFest has to offer. Very easy. You have to share this feed. You have to share whatever is going on. Well, not whatever is going on, but anything related to the GiniFest on Instagram, Facebook, and then tag GiniFest, myself, and Stepan, so we can track and we can find the winner who is going to come and have fun with us.
Իմիջարոց ցեզի ասեմ, որ արդեն VIP հասկացողություն հատ կարևոր մարդկանց դոմսակներու քանակը սահմանափակ է։ 250 դոմսակներ կոյություն ունեին, արդեն այսօրվա պայմաններով 50 դոմսակ մնացած է, դարօրինակ մենք միշտ սիրում ենք, որ ավելի ցանկանոց ավելի առաջարնենք։ Ուրեմն Termiante 50 դոմսակ կա, գտնակ եւ տալ itsmyseat.com եւ ադեղեն ապահովել ձեր դոմսակները։ Իսկ այժմ թող սկսի մեր այսօրվա գենաց հասկացողությունը, ցանկի իմաստը, թեգուզ որ մեր հայրենիքը եւ մեր մայրենիքը դարբեր իրավիճակների մեջ կգտնվին կորոնայի պատճառով եւ բادرազմի պատճառով, մենք պատրաստ ենք միշտ գենացով հաղթահարել բոլոր դժվարությունները։ Let's start the virtual GiniFest.
Our first segment is going to be by Alison Levine. She is the owner of the Please the Palate. She does private events, wine events, and etc. She also writes for Napa Valley Registrar, which is a newspaper in Napa Valley. In fact, she wrote a beautiful article about Armenia and Armenian wines after she attended my master class that was held in October. And she did such a perfect job and coverage of Armenia. So that's our first video. Let's take a look at it.
Hi, I'm Allison from Please the Palate, and I'm really excited to share some of my thoughts about Armenian wines, which I've been introduced to this year. It's really exciting to explore these wines. It's like a new world to me, even though it's such an old world. I've tried so many great wines from around the world and from many countries, including Croatia and Slovenia and Georgia and Greece and Italy, who like to say that they have some of the oldest wines in the world. But I think I've been convinced that Armenia really is the birthplace of wine. And it's great to see an industry that's really coming to life and getting exposure in the US. It's exciting to know that there's a festival about it and that there are so many people so passionate about really delicious wines. And there are 2 wines in particular that have really caught my attention. Voskehat, the white grape, has just stolen my heart. There are some wines in different countries, different white wines, that have kind of like found this little niche with me. And I think Voskehat is one of those wines. It is just so extraordinary with the white fruits, the citrus, the kind of alpine flowers, the fresh acidity. I mean, I just love it. And, you know, if I was going to liken it to something a little bit more familiar to people, I would think of Chenin Blanc. And that's what's so extraordinary is that, you know, a wine that can start younger and as it ages will change in its aromas and flavors. And that's what's so exciting about it. The other grape is Armenian Noir, the red grape that has also stolen my heart. And again, you know, another indigenous variety to Armenia that you have cherry, raspberry, cranberry, blackcurrant aromas. You know, a lot of this kind of reminds me of some other grapes we drink, like Pinot Noir or even a Beaujolais Cru. And while I'm not saying they're the same, they, you know, if you love Pinot and you love Beaujolais, you've got to go try Areni. And I've got my lineup of my wines here from Armenia. I've got some great producers, and it's been really fun tasting these and sharing them with some of my friends. And I'm really looking forward to attending the wine festival, the Armenian Wine Festival in the future, and learning more and tasting more great wines.
Remedy Liqueur խանութ սրահ, որտեղ կարող եք ձեռք բերել խմիչքների ձեր նախընտրած տեսականին։ Remedy Liqueur, ընտրության բացառիկ հնարավորություն։ Բարձրակարգ սպասարկում տեղում, ինչպես նաև հեռախոսով, ինտերնետով և մոբայլ ափի միջոցով։ Օգտվեք մեր այս ծառայություններից օրվա ցանկացած ժամին ցանկացած վայրում։ Ձեր պատվերները կառաքվեն անմիջապես։ Remedy Liqueur, մեծ տեսականի լավագույն արժեքներով։ Remedy Liqueur 818 549 1055։
Վայրիխների գրավականն է։ Գրասենյակները Լոս Անջելեսում, Երևանում, Թբիլիսիում։ Գները հարմար բոլորի համար։ Վստահեք մեզ ձեր բոլոր ճամփորդական հոգսերը։ Ձեզ կմնա միայն վայելել թռիչքը եւ հանգիստը Levon Travel-ի հետ։
Բնույթ մարմնական վնասվածքների, մկանային և հոդացավերի դեպքում դիմեք Optimum Health Care կենտրոն։ Բժիշկ Կարոն Ալբանդյանն ունի 20 տարիների արդյունավետ բուժման փորձառություն, արդյունավետ և կարճաժամկետ բուժում։ Կենտրոնն ունի հարմարավետ և ճկուն վճարման ծրագրեր։ Medical և Medicare ծրագրերը չեն ծածկում կենտրոնի ծառայությունները։ Զանգահարեք Optimum Health Care կենտրոն։
With all the turmoil that's going on in Armenia and Artsakh, I'm once again amazed at the resilience, perseverance, and dedication and willpower of our people. Today, I have to mention the 4 wineries and 4 families who have lost people, who have lost vineyards, who have lost their property. And this is not the first time that that happened. In spite of all, they come back, they reestablish themselves, and they keep going. And this is going to happen again. Those families are Kataro, Aran Wines, Takri Wines, and Apris. It is our duty as Armenians to support them because they are going to continue. They are going to make wine just like they did before. And with our help and support, we're going to make this even more successful. My next guest who is joining me from East Coast is Alexandra Caprielian of Takri Wines. Hey, Alexandra, how are you?
Nice to see you, Holly.
It's wonderful to see you. Thank you for joining and tuning in. Why don't you share briefly about Takri and the winery? Of course, please give us the feedback and information, what happened and what is going on and how we can help and participate.
So basically, during the war, we lost our land. It was Hadrut, so that region went to Azerbaijan. Unfortunately, more than the land, we also lost some of our employees, which is even more painful. Currently, we have decided to continue to produce, and we're not going to stop. So we've already gotten new land, and we're going to continue. But it's going to take time, obviously, because you have to completely recultivate the land. Everything is going to take time. But we still were able to harvest our red grapes before the war broke out. So we're going to be able to produce last vintage from this year. And then going forward, we still do have some wines that are coming to the States, rosé and white wine that was from our previous land. So going forward, the taste of Taki will be totally different, but for the time being, we do still have some inventory, and we will have the new wine that's being produced from the grapes that were just harvested.
Alexandra, I remember first time when I interviewed you for my podcast, you said that your family had vineyards in present-day Turkey, and you were cultivating, and unfortunately during the genocide you lost it, and the history repeated itself. And it's just amazing to see how you guys just keep going, and I love that. That is so amazing.
Can't let that win. We have to keep going. There's no way. I mean, if we were able to rebuild this time, we can rebuild again. So we'll just keep going and keep fighting. And I mean, Armenians have been producing wine for so long. We're not going to let anyone stop us.
I love that. I love that enthusiasm. Like I said, the perseverance and the willpower of the Armenian people is commendable. I haven't seen anyone else like that. How and where can our viewers purchase your wines? Because they are amazing. I'm having a glass of it.
The best place to purchase easily in the States is winesofarmenia.com. And for other places locally, you can also check our website, and we have a list of our retailers as well, if in New York, New Jersey, and Illinois.
Wonderful. You have mentioned that you are going to also add on, you just mentioned that you are going to have a rosé, and I remember you mentioning that you are going to have also a sparkling bubbles.
They are on their way. Shipping delays have been a little bit annoying lately, but they're on a boat somewhere on their way here. So hopefully we'll have those soon, and everyone will be able to get them.
Wonderful. I cannot wait to taste the bubbles and the rosé, of course. I have tried the other wines. They're absolutely delicious. When you think about Takri wines, you think about especially the red, something like stewed meats with like nice sauce, or even a steak with nice glaze on the top. The wine pairs really well. It's very robust. It's very full body. Areni, Sireni, which was native to Artsakh, is that is the type of the grape. You are coming to the GiniFest, in-person GiniFest in July.
Yes, I think so. I'm going to be in Europe, but hopefully the time works out, but I should be there.
Wonderful. So we can't wait to have you at the GiniFest. We're looking forward to for you to meet all our participants. They love meeting people who are behind the wines. Do you have a before I let you go, is there any idea of you're going to reestablish yourself in Artsakh, or the winery is going to be moved to Armenia proper?
We didn't lose our manufacturing facility, and that's in Stepanakert, so thankfully we still have that. It's just the cultivating of the new land that will take time to grow the grapes.
And it's going to be again in the Artsakh, and you're going to be growing Sireni varietal?
Yes.
That is amazing, because you can bring Sireni to different terroirs, but it doesn't taste the same that it tastes in Artsakh. So I'm really excited that you are going to continue and have that grape growing in Artsakh and producing it. Thank you so much, Alexandra. Thank you so much for being part of the virtual GiniFest and in-person GiniFest. We wish you lots of success. Like I said, as a collective Armenian community, we're here to support you, to buy your wines and everybody else's. We have to keep spreading the word. We have to continue our culture through the wine, and educate and introduce that to everyone, to Armenians and non-Armenians mostly.
Thank you so much for everything that you guys are doing too.
Thank you. Have a wonderful night.
Have a good night.
Thank you so much. We are going to Ani Duzdabanyan next, journalist. She has covered the first annual virtual GiniFest. She wrote a wonderful article in the Mirror Spectator, covered in much detail, and we're going to take a message from her.
I am Ani Duzdabanyan-Manukyan, a reporter and GiniFest fan. That's where 2 years ago I discovered the amazing Armenian wines and winemakers. I was thrilled to find out how wine industry developed during these 10 to 15 years, becoming competitive in the worldwide market and an important aspect of Armenian economy. I had a pleasure to interview Anush Gharibian O'Connor, director of GiniFest for the Armenian Mirror Spectator, and the interview became a real masterclass of winemaking. Unfortunately, we lost some wineries during the most recent and devastating war in Artsakh. But I am hopeful that they will find ways to continue to thrive, because we absolutely need Armenian wine to be part of our everyday life and celebration. And not because we are Armenians and should feel somehow obligated, but because it's really good. Cheers.
Distractions. They're a part of our everyday life, but some can be more devastating than others. In a split second, an unexpected car accident can result in traumatic neck and back injuries. But thankfully, there's the Advanced Chiropractic Wellness Center, led by Dr. Marine Papazian, who specializes in chiropractic treatments for car accident victims. Using the latest techniques and equipment, the Wellness Center is one of the best chiropractic rehab facilities in the Valley. If you're in pain, give us a call today.
Սա իմ հայրենի հողն է, որտեղ պապերս եւ հայրս տնկել, ստեղծել, խնամել եւ արարել են։ Թորված բարձրորակ խաղողից, հնեցված եւ հասցված կատարելության։ Պատմություններով, ծիծաղով եւ սիրով լի ժառանգությունը շարունակվում է, պահպանելով ընտանեկան ավանդույթի պատմությունը, փոխանցելով այն սերնդից սերունդ, կփայփայենք հայրենիքի հիշողությունները եւ նրա անմոռանալի համը։ Կիլիկիա, կատարյալ շքեղություն։
We are back to the GiniFest virtual, and as you know, every year that we have conducted the GiniFest, we encouraged Armenian artists and designers and Armenian arts and crafts individuals to participate. And if you have attended the past GiniFest, you saw that every attendee had to walk through the Armenian arts marketplace to be able to go to the wine tasting area. It's my pleasure today to introduce to you Lucine Simonian, who is the founder of Mireille Collection. Could you explain to us what is the Mireille Collection?
Thank you, Stepanjan, and thank you for having me this year as a vendor. I used to be an attendee myself, so I really appreciate you representing Armenian art and artists. Mireille Collections, I launched it back in 2019 with the goal to curate and represent Armenian designers from around the world. Of course, most of them are in Armenia right now, and we're happy to introduce them to the worldwide market. What it is, it's an online store that you can shop jewelry, accessories, apparel.
And what is the name of the store online?
It is Mireille Collections.
.com.
Collections. Yes, MireilleCollections.com. Mireille actually means glowing like a moon, and Lucina means a moon, all connected. So the idea behind it is, I like jewelry myself. I love traveling and finding unique accessories, and having a family back at home gave me the rare opportunity to do that, to walk down the streets, the markets, and see the beautiful jewelry that Armenians make. And I wanted that rare occasion opportunity to bring it here into US.
Perfect. So basically you're helping the Armenian individual in Armenia, the creative individual in Armenia, to be able to extend their products to the US and be able to sell them. Are there any particular names that you would like to announce in the collection?
Well, we have over 40 designers.
Wow.
We started with 5 in 2019. Right now we have over 40. There is a section on the website, artists.
Because they might get mad at us
There
if
you
we
go.
mention only 5 and then the remaining.
Every time I tried to wear some of the accessories that I own myself from the designers that I represent. So today the accessories that you see are by Jewel's Philosophy.
Perfect. So it's been 2 years that you've been doing it. What is the outcome? What is the reflections of Armenian artists in Armenia knowing that their products being sold here?
It has a very good impact on Armenian economy, because the idea is to support Armenian individuals who are very talented but do not have the opportunity to be in different markets except the markets that are surrounding Armenia. So we are giving that rare opportunity to them, and I'm very happy about that. They're happy about it too, because they can create as much as they want. They get to do their creative outlet, and me as an accountant, I get to represent them and enjoy all the art behind it.
So you mix the business with pleasure.
There you go.
Is it only for women, or it's a unisex, male and woman?
It's unisex, yes, both in apparel and the accessories.
Well, thank you very much for your time today. MirayCollections.com. As you know, for almost 30 years, I've been asking you to help Armenian artists, to Armenian arts, with the exhibitions and such on. Now there's another opportunity that Armenian artists could be represented at GiniFest, because everybody likes to drink, and before they go in to test the wines and the spirits, they have to go to the Armenian arts marketplace, so that your contribution and buying an item or two will help Armenian creators in Armenia and in the diaspora. Well, let's go to our break right now, and then after that we'll continue our wine tasting program.
Ոդկա, ազատության վայելքը։ Highland Whiskey արտադրվում է ավելի քան 12 տարի հնեցված ցորենի բարձրորակ սպիրտից, որի անկրկնելի համը ձևավորվում է կաղնեփայտե տակառներում։ Իր մեղմությամբ աչքի ընկնող Highland Whiskey-ն առանձնանում է հաճելի սաթագույն երանգով, մետաքսյա կառուցվածքով և համերի նուրբ համաչափությամբ։ Highland Whiskey, հայկական լեռնաշխարհի անմոռանալի բուրմունք։
welcome back to the second annual virtual GiniFest. My next guest is from Team Storica, Chris Poldoyan. He is joining us and he's going to share all the fun and exciting things that are happening with Storica. And Storica is an wine importing company that is fairly new. Hey Chris, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. It's so nice to meet you via Zoom. Hopefully we can see each other and meet each other in person quite very soon. Without further ado, why don't you share with us what Storica does, what the name is, and how was it launched?
Yeah, so Storica is the name of our company, and we import wine from Armenia. So a lot of Armenian wine that's available in the United States, it's maybe cushioned within another portfolio of other wines. We specialize in wines from Armenia. That's what we import, and we work only with indigenous varieties. We really want to showcase the terroir, everything that's so special, the anthropological heritage, the winemaking history and tradition that exists within Armenia. So we have a wide range of different wines that we work with, and I'd love to share a couple of them with you today, if that's all right.
Absolutely, would love to.
So one of the wines that we work with, this is a winery called Kush. Maybe you can see it here. So Kush is the name of a sparkling winery, and it's the first syllable of the winemaker's last name. It's a gentleman named Vahe Kushgarian. And Vahe makes sparkling wine in the region of Vayatsor in the southern part of Armenia. And it's very high elevation fruit. The wine itself is made in the same method that they use to make champagne. And it's made with two indigenous varieties, Voskeat and Katuni. And using those grapes, we're able to create a product that is just really delicious, has an incredibly complex mouthfeel. The texture is fantastic. It's a mix of champagne and Armenia all in one.
Wonderful. I had a pleasure and opportunity to taste the Kush. I absolutely love it. We even blind tasted it against some French champagnes, and honestly, the Kush won a couple of times. So that's very exciting to know that we have a wonderful sparkling wine coming out from Armenia that actually can be competing. I mean, there's really no competition, but it's compatible to the French champagne. What else would you like to share with us? What other wines?
So we also import still wines. So this is a really fun winery. This winery is called Zulal, which is the Armenian word for pure. So the winemaker for the sparkling wine that we had earlier, that is Vahe Kushgarian, and Vahe's daughter, her name is Amy, and she fell in love with winemaking while helping her father at Kush and started her own project, Zulal. And Zulal is meant to really showcase the purity of these Armenian varieties. So these wines are all, for the most part, monovarietal, which means they're made with only one grape. And they don't typically see a lot of oak. She doesn't want anything to get in the way of the flavor of the juice itself. She wants you to be able to taste that soil, that really limestone, volcanic soil, as well as the unique variety. So this is an Areni. This is a red wine, and it's just super floral. It's got a kind of like bright rose, kind of like a potpourri, kind of like spiced character, and then like a slight like tart red fruit, kind of like a pomegranate or bright red cherry aroma. So really, really delicious wine, a lot of fun.
Wonderful description. It's very mouth-watering. In fact, you know, when you start thinking about all those aromas, what would you pair it with? What would be a nice Armenian or maybe even non-Armenian dish that you can pair the Zulal Areni with?
Well, if I were doing it with an Armenian dish, I'd probably do it with lamejun. I would probably have it with maybe some lamb on lavash, something like that. And if I were to have it with maybe a dish that we have a lot of here in Texas, we have a lot of grilled meat here in Houston, where I'm based. And I would say this with maybe a filet, maybe a leaner cut of beef, or maybe with some pork. I think that would be a really good combination. I think, you know, a richer cut would probably go better with the Areni Reserve, one of the other wines that we import. But this one is very fresh, bright, mouth-watering like you described it. So a filet mignon would be great, or even maybe grilled fish would even be good. So.
Yeah, that sounds delicious. Before I let you go, and it was so nice to meet you, why don't you share how our viewers can purchase the wines from Storica? Are you direct to consumer?
We are direct to consumer, so our wines are available. You can buy them through our website, which is www.storicawines.com. You can also scroll to the very bottom of our website, And there you'll find a little tab that says Find Our Wines. And if you click on that, you're greeted with a map of the United States, and you can see a variety of different shops in Los Angeles. Mission Wine and Spirits is one of them, but there are many, many others in Los Angeles. We also have our wines distributed in Texas, New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, and Florida. So if you go on that map, you can see all the different places where you can buy and drink these wines.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chris, so much. Thank you for joining. Genats, cheers.
Genats. Thank you.
Wine glasses, wine glassware. This is a question that I get asked a lot. Which wine to serve in which glass? What is the proper thing? What is the proper way to hold the glass? Do you hold it by the bowl? Do you hold it by the stem? My friend, Keslia, who is a certified sommelier, among many other things, she's a wine professional. She's going to share with her all the techniques and tips on the proper glassware. So let's take a look at her video.
Hi, my name is Keslia Herwalt. I am a sommelier, and today we are going to be talking about stemware and wine glasses. This is a very near and dear topic to my heart because I believe that stemware can really make all the difference when you're enjoying wine. I believe in this so much that my blog and Instagram name is By the Stem, like you hold your wine glass by the stem. I also have my own wine label called Keslia Wine, and I have a wine club where I ship wine to you monthly. All my members are VIPs and get access to sustainably farmed, small production wines, rare varieties that you won't find anywhere else. So let's dive into the topic of stemware. Obviously, there's tons of different varieties of stemware. These are kind of my favorites, and so this is what I'm going to show you today. When we're talking about stemware, there are four main parts. The foot, which basically just helps the glass stand up. The stem, which is very important. The bowl, which is even more important. And then the rim. The rim, basically, you just want a nice thin rim that feels good on the lips, helps the wine go into the palate smoothly. The bowl makes a big difference. And so we have different sized bowls here for different reasons. But the reason we have a bowl on the glass is for when we swirl the wine, it helps aerate it, it helps open it up. And so different types of grape varieties want to be opened up at different rates. So there's a reason why a white wine glass is going to have a small bowl, because we don't need it to open up as much as we do some red wine. And so the red wine is going to have a bigger bowl. Also, this is the champagne flute that I recommend because it does have a bowl which allows the champagne to open up. This is my tasting champagne glass. I do have flutes as well because they're fun to celebrate with. It's just not the best tasting glass for bubbles. So this is a Bordeaux style stem. This is a Burgundy style stem. So basically your Cabernet Sauvignon, your Malbec, your Merlot, and this is more for your Pinot Noir and Gamay, your light varieties. And the reason they're so different is because the bowl size actually helps it hit the palate in different ways. So the big bowl, this is for delicate grapes. It's gonna get it right in the front of the palate, which will help you experience those nice delicate flavors. Versus the the smaller bowl is gonna help it hit the back of the palate, which is gonna help with those tannins, that roughness, that bold intensity on a Cab Sav or a Malbec. So hopefully that's helpful for you. Thank you for tuning in, and hopefully you learned a little bit more about stemware today. Thank you so much. Cheers!
Levon Travel, ինչպես միշտ վստահելի եւ պրոֆեսիոնալ, արագ եւ լավագույն գներով։ Հանդիսանալով American Express գործակալության ներկայացուցիչ Levon Travel-ը առաջարկում է մատչելի ավիատոմսեր ու գրավիչ տուրիստական պատետներ հետևյալ եւ այլ ուղղություններով՝ Հայաստան եւ Արցախ, all-inclusive պատետներ Մեքսիկո եւ Կարիբյան, մեղրամսի պատետներ դեպի Բահամա, Թահիթի եւ Հավայի, խմբային եւ անհատական ուղևորություններ դեպի Իտալիա, Իսպանիա, Ֆրանսիա եւ եվրոպական այլ երկրներ։ Ցանկացած ճամփորդություն սկսում է առաջին քայլից։ Արեք այդ քայլը դեպի Levon Travel։
Distractions. They're a part of our everyday life, but some can be more devastating than others. In a split second, an unexpected car accident can result in traumatic neck and back injuries. But thankfully, there's the Advanced Chiropractic Wellness Center, led by Dr. Maureen Papazian, who specializes in chiropractic treatments for car accident victims. Using the latest techniques and equipment, the Wellness Center is one of the best chiropractic rehab facilities in the Valley. If you're in pain, give us a call today.
Տիգրան մեծ կոնյակն աչքի է ընկնում իր փայլուն սաթե գույնով, ներդաշնակ մեծակսյա կառուցվածքով և հաճելի հետ համային նրբերանգներով։ Կոնյակի հնեցումը կատարվում է կաղնե փայտե տակառներում, որոնք խմիչքին փոխանցում են անկրկնելի հարուստ համ։ Տիգրան մեծ, արքայական կոնյակ։
Hi, my name is Tom Mullen. I am an American. I live in Bordeaux in the southwest region of France, and I contribute to Forbes online, writing about wine, about lifestyle, about travel, and about food. And I've also contributed to the Wine Enthusiast magazine, and I have my own blog, vinovoices.com. And today, I want to tell you a little bit about Armenian wine. 2 years ago, I visited Armenia and was greatly impressed by not only the quality of the wine, but the dedication to the viticulture and the investment that's being made in that country. The country of Armenia is only 1/10 the size of Italy. However, it has 400 different grape varieties, of which 31 are used for making wine. It has a 6,000-year-long history of winemaking and is called the sacred land of wine. So one of those grapes is Areni, A-R-E-N-I, Areni. This is a red grape. It is a dark-colored grape and produces full-bodied wines. And the characteristics are it has a great range of different characteristics, but it really blends together beautiful, rich red and black fruit together with spice. So if you think of the roundness of a Merlot from Bordeaux together with the elegance of a Pinot Noir from Burgundy, that's what you have in Areni. You think of the peppery snap and black pepper characteristics of the Carmenère grape from Bordeaux, blend that with the gentle structure of a Beaujolais cru from France also. And when they make this wine, sometimes they use Caucasian oak from that region, named after the Caucasus Mountains. 250-year-old oak, fine-grained, and the trees grow in less humid environments than in France, so it's actually more intense than French oak. If you get the chance to visit Yerevan, you're going to enjoy it, and get the chance to sample Armenian wine, you are in for a treat. Thank you, and enjoy yourself.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you for that wonderful message. From your words, I just imagined that I was taking a trip back in Armenia and going through the cave and experiencing all the wine. And thank you for being part of GiniFest. Our next segment, our next Zoom guest is Apris family. Apris family has been in the wine industry not for a very long time, but it has captured already everybody's hearts. As the wine and as the people. Today we have Emilia joining us via Zoom from the East Coast, and she's going to share what's going on with Apris, what happened, and future projects. Hi, Emilia.
Hi, Anush. Nice to see you again.
It's so nice to see your smiley face. Why don't you share with us a little bit about Apris, how it got started, and what happened during the war, and what are the future projects?
Of course. So Apris was started by my father, Garan Bagdasaryan, and it was started in 2016 after the war then. The initial plan was to start a winery in Artsakh because that's where our roots are from. My grandparents, my great-grandparents are from Artsakh. And so we found a beautiful place in Martuni, right in between my grandfather's and my grandmother's village. And we laid down roots there with an existing family, Bagdasar Gulyan, who had a winery, and we just let it flourish. We created our own wine brand, Apris, and we were able to produce a beautiful wine and export it to the United States. We only worked with indigenous varietals, and we continue to do so. unfortunately, until the war this past year. Like many other wine families in Artsakh, we lost everything. We lost our winery, we lost the vineyards, we lost the land, and even most importantly, we lost the people. We lost our partner's son, as long as another one of our dedicated workers who stayed behind when the women and the men, some men, the younger people left the villages to Yerevan and to other places in Armenia. They stayed behind to defend the land. And unfortunately, we lost a few lives, like I said. However, this spirit is not broken. So Garen is actually in Artsakh right now and in Armenia, reviving, what's left and what we can continue to do with the project. And we're producing in Armenia right now with sites set to be back in Artsakh very soon.
Wonderful. I am just amazed at all the stories. And we are shortly going to watch the little video that your dad actually sent from Artsakh, from the vineyards. Where and how can our viewers purchase your wines, and are they still available, and what is the vintage?
Absolutely. So our wines are still available. We don't have much left, but all that we do have available right now is our 2018 wines that were already on market and in the United States. Unfortunately, because we lost the winery, all of our 2019 wine, the white and the rosé, was already bottled, waiting for labels to go on, and the 2019 red and reserve were in the barrels and in the tanks still ready to be bottled. So unfortunately, we lost all of that. We still have our 2018, and all the proceeds from that is, first it was going to, keep our workers on their feet so they can live a human life, but also now it's going back to rebuild, and so we can keep many of our workers. Luckily, some of them did stay with us and are working with us in Armenia right now. So hopefully the rest who are in Artsakh right now will be able to work with us there. One silver lining that we do have is we were able to keep some land near Amaras, and it is in a neutral zone. So some of our workers are able to work on it under the peacekeepers' protection. So it's by no means, the production that we were looking at before, but something exciting from all of this is with all of the DNA testing that we were doing with our cuttings and our vineyards, we were able to identify a red grape which doesn't match up with Sirani, doesn't match up with anything in Armenia right now. So it's super indigenous to Artsakh, and we're propagating it right now in Armenia as well. So
wonderful.
Fingers crossed we'll keep the legacy alive even further and further.
Of course, and apres to you, and apres to your family, and apres to everyone who is involved in the project. Thank you so much, Amelia.
Thank you, Anish.
Right now I'm on my father's village. It's called Herher, and you can see right there on the first building, the white building, it's our vineyard where we was making apres wine. And on the back, on top, it's a village Sheher, which is right now in our enemy's hand. So this is the beautiful land right now under our enemy hands. It's very sad. Նորից սկսում ենք ապրիս գինի պատրաստելը, հա? Անել ոք, չէ? Բա ինչ, հա, կյանքը գնում է. So we're going to start again. We're not going to give up. Now it's a new 2021 vintage, which is, you see, we are in Amaras with the local farmers. and we're drinking for the Apres for the new 2021 vintage Apres. Слишком грустно. Кровь пустил. So I cut my finger, but I think it's a good sign. Let's put my blood. It's here in these leaves. Make a mark. We will take our land back. The Samaras. Apres.
Բնույթ մարմնական վնասվածքների, մկանային և հոդացավերի դեպքում դիմեք Optimum Health Care կենտրոն։ Բժիշկ Կարոն Ալբանդյանն ունի 20 տարիների արդյունավետ բուժման փորձառություն, արդյունավետ և կարճաժամկետ բուժում։ Կենտրոնն ունի հարմարավետ և ճկուն վճարման ծրագրեր։ Medical և Medicare ծրագրերը չեն ծածկում կենտրոնի ծառայությունները։ Զանգահարեք Optimum Health Care կենտրոն։
Welcome back to our second annual virtual GiniFest. Right now we have our very dear supporter, dear friend, and a participant of the every GiniFest, virtual or in person, Stepan Baghdasaryan of winesofarmenia.com.
Thank you, Anush. Thank you for being. Thanks for having me here again. Once again, we're a big supporter of Armenian wines, and it's good to have good news and good wines coming from Armenia. And Wines of Armenia has been we're the importers and distributors and online retailers of premium Armenian wines. We're happy to bring the best of Armenia to the American public, to American wine consumer, and people love Armenian wines. We have the best selection, the largest selection of Armenian wines throughout the United States. And if you're watching this right now anywhere in the United States, you can get our wine, get Armenian wines delivered to you. And you're going to enjoy them, you're going to tell your friends about them. And we're here to support the Armenian vineyards, Armenian winemakers, Armenian wine pickers, the whole industry. And we're happy to do this, Anush.
Stepan, you have started with just maybe a couple of wines in a few years ago when I came to interview you for my podcast. And right now you have a huge variety. And I think this year you actually added on much more wines than you had last year, from last time we saw each other.
Indeed. Armenia is blessed with amazing vineyards, amazing indigenous grapes, and phenomenal winemakers. Armenia is going through a wine renaissance, and we're happy to bring them to you, to the American public. Besides our one of our favorites, Old Bridge. We have Takri from Artsakh. We have Malahi from Armenia, Siren, Aran from Artsakh. This year we've added David from Armenia, Hin Areni from Armenia. This is a beautiful rosé from Voskeni. This is Tuz from Tavush region. Most of the vineyards in Armenia are in the south, Bayotso region, Areni region, whereas Tuz is up north from Tavush region. And this beautiful, beautiful white wine is made from Lalvari grapes, which is absolutely delicious. And this is from Noav Areni white wine. Our selection is growing because people are supporting us. People love Armenian wines, not only Armenians, but Americans as well. If you're into wine, you have to also try and appreciate Armenian wines as well.
Wonderful. It's an amazing. I have tried most of the wines and I love most of the wines. You carry a wonderful line and wonderful selection. You do offer something that the customers can have a monthly subscription, or is it a quarterly subscription?
Yes. Besides having the largest selection of Armenian wines in the United States and shipping it to most of the U.S., this year or beginning of end of last year, we came up with this Wines of Armenian Wine Club, where on a monthly basis, whether at the reserve level or the regular level, we ship you 2 unique Armenian wines to your door. This way you have a chance to try new wines, appreciate new wines, and tell your friends about these new wines that we're happy to get from Armenia. This is a great opportunity to try wines you may ordinarily not know about or didn't want to try them because you were not aware of them. But this way, this gives you an opportunity to taste these amazing wines and appreciate these amazing wines. And we are, through this process, again, we are supporting the wineries and the wine workers and the winemakers in Armenia, and we're happy to do it. And as I said, we ship to most of the United States through common carriers, of course. And Anush is aware of this. She's had this before. Some of you have already received this already. Anybody buys 6 bottles of Armenian wines will also receive this beautiful Wines of Armenia wine bottle opener. It has becoming quite a collector's item. People are talking about this on social media and putting pictures of it, so we're happy to do it. It's a great memento and a great appreciation from us for your supporting of Armenian wine. We're happy to do it. And before I forget, anytime you get 6 bottles of wine, I pay for the shipping. So just pick any 6 bottles of wine. Hopefully you'll pick more than 6. But at a minimum, you get 6 bottles of wine. I pay for the shipping. You enjoy the wines, and we thank you for it.
Wonderful, Stepan. This is amazing. Winesofarmenia.com is such a convenient way to order wonderful wines of Armenia. Keep the Armenian winemakers working. Introduce amazing wines to your friends, to your families. Great gifts. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being a great support to the GiniFest.
My pleasure. It's a great opportunity to showcase the best of Armenia through these amazing wines, and we're happy to do it. Thanks to the support of our wine drinking consumers. Thank you so much. Glad to be here. Thank
Wonderful.
you.
So the next segment is just going to be explaining a little bit of that. A lot of people are so excited about Armenian wines, Armenian spirits, and they keep asking me, can I just bring wine and just sell it? But the answer is no, you have to go through a lot of steps. And Robert Haik, who is a CEO of Bulgarian Wines, a GNB Import, he is going to break it down to you if you decide to start your own business and have an importing company, what you should do and how you should start it. Thank you, Robert, for diving into this complex subject and simplifying it for all of us. Let's take a look.
Hi, everybody. My name is Robert, and I have just 2 minutes to share with you a few things about how to turn your passion for wine into a viable business. Let's assume you traveled to Armenia, tasted a fantastic wine, fell in love with that, and now you want to share the discovery with the rest of the American wine drinkers. That is a great idea, but before you quit your day job, here are a few things to remember. As with any endeavor, any enterprise, the first thing you need is a solid business plan and a starting capital, i.e. cash. You're going to need that. It is also important to understand how the industry operates. US wine and alcohol industry is a 3-tier system. What it basically means is consumers can only buy from retailers, retailers can only buy from distributors, and distributors can only buy from importers. If you decide to bring wine from Armenia, you will become de facto an importer. To become an importer, you will need to obtain import licenses from TTB, get registered in your state, and obtain a storage space. The next thing you need are distributors to represent your wine and your portfolio in the states where you're planning to operate and sell your wine. It will be you who will be knocking on the doors of retailers, persuading them that your wine is a great addition to their wine program. Once you get their 100% commitment, you can go back to your distributors and they will be more than happy to deliver your wine to the retailer for a mere 25% margin. There are tons of other issues to consider, such as price segment in which your portfolio will be operating, marketing strategy, which states to enter first, what kind of a distributor to get, large, small, mid-size. But these are not existential questions. These are mere problems and hurdles that with enough enthusiasm, solid business plan, and tenacity and hard work, you will be able to overcome. And this is just scratching the surface. If you would like to understand more, I will be happy to share my expertise and experience. So please reach out. Thank you very much for listening. Good luck and cheers.
Distractions. They're a part of our everyday life, but some can be more devastating than others. In a split second, an unexpected car accident can result in traumatic neck and back injuries. But thankfully, there's the Advanced Chiropractic Wellness Center, led by Dr. Marine Papazian, who specializes in chiropractic treatments for car accident victims. Using the latest techniques and equipment, the Wellness Center is one of the best chiropractic rehab facilities in the Valley. If you're in pain, give us a call today.
Remedy Liquor խանութ սրահ, որտեղ կարող եք ձեռք բերել խմիչքների ձեր նախընտրած տեսականին։ Remedy Liquor, ընտրության բացառիկ հնարավորություն։ Բարձրակարգ սպասարկում տեղում, ինչպես նաև հեռախոսով, ինտերնետով եւ մոբայլ ափի միջոցով։ Օգտվեք մեր այս ծառայություններից օրվա ցանկացած ժամին ցանկացած վայրում։ Ձեր պատվերները կառաքվեն անմիջապես։ Remedy Liquor, մեծ տեսականի լավագույն արժեքներով։ Remedy Liquor 818 549 1055։
Բազմաբնույթ մարմնական վնասվածքների, մկանային և հոդացավերի դեպքում դիմեք Optimum Health Care կենտրոն։ Բժիշկ Կարոն Ալբանդյանն ունի 20 տարիների արդյունավետ բուժման փորձառություն, արդյունավետ և կարճաժամկետ բուժում։ Կենտրոնն ունի հարմարավետ և ճկուն վճարման ծրագրեր։ Medical և Medicare ծրագրերը չեն ծածկում կենտրոնի ծառայությունները։ Զանգահարեք Optimum Health Care կենտրոն։
Hi everybody, I'm Anna Kachikian, creator and founder of the Armenian Report. You might have heard of us from a friend, a cousin, a relative about a news story that they read from Armenia on the Armenian Report. The Armenian Report is the #1 trusted news source for English-speaking Armenian diasporans around the world. I started the Armenian Report in 2018 because as a journalist, I wanted to bring Armenia closer to me. And through that experience, I began to verify news stories on a daily basis and began to share it with my followers on social media. Very quickly, the Armenian diaspora took to this because they too wanted to get closer to Armenia on a daily basis. The Armenian Report is solely funded by the people, our readers who subscribe and donate to the Armenian Report on a monthly basis. And in only 3 years, we've been able to hire many talent in Armenia and in Artsakh. And I'm so grateful for every single monthly donor for supporting independent journalism. And I'm a huge supporter of GiniFest, because just like the Armenian Report, GiniFest brings Armenia closer to us as well. Through wine, we are able to taste, smell, and experience Armenia. And so the Armenian winemaker is a huge contributor to Armenia's economy. We must support a huge portion of Armenia's economy by drinking wine. And that's what GiniFest is all about, supporting Armenian winemakers and bringing Armenia closer to us for us to taste Armenian wine, experience Armenian wine, and help contribute to Armenia's economy. It's a win-win for all. Gini leads!
Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much for that wonderful message. Anna has been a supporter of the GiniFest from its inception. From the first in-person GiniFest, she has been big supporter through her personal platform and then through the Armenian Report. We thank you for a wonderful job that you do covering Armenian news, and we are very grateful for the Armenian Report. My next guest in the studio is Victoria of Armas. Hey, Victoria. Good to see you.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
It's so nice to have you in here rather than doing via Zoom. I mean, I was happy to do it via Zoom with you last time, but it's wonderful to see you face to face.
Likewise, pleasure.
So what's going on with Armas? For those who don't know, maybe you can share a couple of, a little bit about Armas, and then what are exciting projects that are coming out?
Well, I recently moved back to Los Angeles after living in Armenia for 11 years to do all of this, and now we're here to continue all of this. So we opened our own import distribution company, and we're very well represented in especially in the Southern California market, but we're venturing out to different states as well. But I think the biggest message, and I've been hearing a lot of people say it this evening, is that if at the very least we can get a great stronghold in the Armenian community, it's going to open doors elsewhere. And that's what we're working towards. You know, we want to make sure that Armenia has their place on the aisle in Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Costco's, and Total Wine, Bevmo, etc. So this is what we're working towards. But in the meantime, anyone can find fine Armenian wines at Remedy Liquors, Mission Liquors, Super King, John's, etc. And especially with the Armenian, you know, celebration season opening up with weddings, etc., I think it's imperative that any Armenian can find any Armenian wine that speaks to their palate and at their desired price point and have it at their celebrations. And then hopefully, aside from celebrations, every evening with dinner.
How easy or how difficult it is to, now that you're here, it's one thing to produce the wine and send it over with a distributor and importer, but now that you're doing all the legwork, so you're pretty much making the wine, you're importing it, you're distributing it, and also you're selling it. What are the challenges and what are the opportunities that you see?
Well, challenges, obviously, there's a lot of work to do, so that is a challenge, but many more opportunities because we cut the middleman out, you know, which is a luxury because it's a completely new business. So to go into that, it was a very bold step on our behalf, but we saw that as a necessity so that we can make sure that we're always fully stocked in our warehouse. We get to choose the distributors and retailers that we work with, and also anyone can call us directly and, you know, get our recommendations or whatever it may be. So being here, of course, is it's imperative to the ongoing promotion of Armas and Armenian wines, generally speaking, and it will be more and more so once the nation opens up. So one of the ways that most of us have had any success in the U.S. market is through events and tastings. You know, this last year and a half, our hands kind of have been tied in that regard. But it's changing, and this is yet another example of that happening, and hopefully we'll have it live in Burbank at the end of July.
At the end of July, we can't wait. You have two exciting wines that are coming out from your line, and why don't you share that with us?
Yeah, so we're very happy to introduce Kirk wines. So Kirk means passion, and I always say, you know, Armas is our name, and Kirk is our approach. So we're very happy to have these new wines, a red and a white, keeping it very simple. The white is a mixture of Kangun and Voskehat, and the red is a mixture of Areni and Karmara. Non-vintage wines, easy to drink, very flavorful, have a little bit of a sweet aftertaste, even though they're both dry, very approachable. So it's just another thing to add to our portfolio, and it's at a lesser price segment. So for the big events especially, we hope to see it at every table.
You know what's amazing about Armas that I have noticed that your line is, first of all, it's very appealing to everyday wine drinker. Also, you have a segment for a special occasion, and then you have a segment for a collector. What was the idea of doing that?
Just that. The idea was just that, so that we could appeal to as many people across the board, right? People who understand and don't understand wine, people who are wine lovers, and people who just need an introduction into this world or enjoy it time to time. So that's exactly what we wanted to do, and soon we will also have our grand reserve. And it's been a couple of years in the making, maybe another year or two to go. But that's the entire point. So currently with Armas, we have 9 wines. I believe it's 3 or 4 reds, a rosé, 3 whites. We have the reserves, barrel-aged, fresh wines, etc. White semi-sweet as well. Next year, we will also have a red semi-sweet because there's a huge demand for it. And we want to be accessible, and we want everyone to find what they love. I mean, there's some people who love our rosé, some people who just the Karmarahyut Reserve or the Areni or the Kangun, Voskehat. So that's the exact point. For people also to be able to see our versatility, that we can do it. We take the best of our nature, we mix it with the best of our abilities and create these works of art that are, enjoyed by many people, we're very happy to say, all over the world.
Absolutely. You also, I just wanted to briefly mention that you do specialize and you do concentrate on a particular varietal that not everybody works with, the Karmarahyut.
Yes.
What was the idea behind that and why?
In 2012, when Emilio Del Medico, our winemaker, came to Armenia for the first time to meet the grapes, and I had a little bit of knowledge of Karmarahyut myself, and I told him, Emilio, generally the Karmarahyut, we blend it with the Areni to give the Areni some color because it's lacking in color, whereas Karmarahyut, it's all about the color and intensity. And I said, so, we'll blend it. And he looks at me like, you have this grape, you make no wine? And I said, well, no, it's also very difficult to work with, in the winemaking process in the vineyards, this, that. And he goes, That's okay, we make 2. And we made our Karmarahyut and the Rosé, which became our absolute best sellers. The following year, we made our Karmarahyut Reserve, which has the most accolades. So, it was featured in Wine Enthusiast, printed as in printed edition in the States as Editor's Choice, 92 points, Grand Gold at Mundus Vini, Double Gold in Japan and elsewhere. It's also at Wally's in Beverly Hills, which was a great feat. And I think it's one of our finer wines. And I'm very happy to be able to show this grape, really showcase this grape.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Victoria. This is such a wonderful story. Cheers. Thank you for stopping by. Our next guest is Christy Canterbury. She's a master of wine, and I asked her to briefly give us a little bit of ideas which wine to pair with which food, because this is a commonly asked question. So let's take a listen to her message.
It's a pleasure to be here for the 2nd annual GiniFest. My name is Christy Canterbury, Master of Wine. I'm based in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm passionate about Armenian wines, being married to an Armenian American and having visited Armenia a year and a half ago, where I got to spend some time visiting wineries and trying a lot of the local wines. I've been asked to talk to you about food and wine pairings, and I know they can seem tricky to get right. Knowing a bit about your wine and then thinking about your food preparation will help get you there. So find out first about your wine style, which refers to its flavors, their intensities, as well as how it feels in your mouth. Is it light or heavy? Is it refreshing? Does it leave you salivating and wanting another sip? Is it tannic? That is, does it dry out your mouth a little bit or too much? Another important style element is whether or not the wine was an oak. So that means it might taste like toast or nuts, vanilla or chocolate. So what about fruit flavors? For a white wine, this could be a light lemony flavor or a rich tropical flavor. For red, it could be crunchy raspberries or succulent cassis. With these things in mind, let's switch to think about food, something we're all more familiar with than wine. Understanding food components and prep are a huge help. So I'm going to cover 5 elements to keep in mind. First are the base ingredients. Obviously, there's flavor, but we should also think of weight, acid, and texture. The weight of the food is also associated with density and fats. Think of beef versus fish. Beef is denser and fattier. The denser and fattier the food, the bigger and burnt the wine can be. Now, acidity. A tomato salad is more acidic than white bean puree. The more acidic a food, the lighter and similarly acidic the wine should be. And finally, texture. Potatoes au gratin are firm, but mashed potatoes are creamy. Firmer textures work better with more structured wines. That means they have more acid, more tannin than creamier foods. Creamier textured foods work better with more supple, more juicy wines. Now, food colors. Generally speaking, lighter colored foods match better with lighter wines. Now, the wines could be white or red, even rosé. They just should be lighter in weight and in alcohol. Darker colored foods help work you into the darker end of the wine color spectrum and also pair better with heavier wines. Pre-cooking prep. Cooking prep can radically change the final dish. Just think about marinades that use herbs, spices, vinegar, and oils to amp up flavor. Similarly, brining emphasizes a food's natural flavors. So both of these preps result in a more flavorful dish, and you're going to want a more flavorful wine for that. Also, breading foods with flour, panko crumbs, suggests there'll be some butter or oil used in the cooking. That means that you're going to want something refreshing or more acidic to chase away the fat after each bite. And now a biggie, cooking temperatures. Lower versus higher heat. Lower heat preparations like poaching and sauteing work better with lighter to mid-weight wines. Also, the gentler the cooking temperature, the less likely the dish will be able to handle the flavor imparted by toasty oak character. Go with unoaked wines. When you turn up the temperatures to roast or grill a food, heavier wines start to work. Higher cooking temperatures develop more concentrated flavors and can easily take on new oaks, mocha, coffee, caramel, toasty flavors. And finally, accompaniments. Sauces change everything. They can take over the entire flavor spectrum of the dish. So if you're serving a sauce, you should use it as your guide for wine pairing. Lighter, more acidic sauces need brighter, fresher wines. Creamier, heavier sauces go better with fuller bodied, fuller flavored wines. Now, that was a lot of information in a short period of time. Be sure to remember that there's a lot of leeway in food and wine pairing. Just try to match like with like. Weight, fat, intensity, and texture-wise. But most importantly, no good meal has ever been ruined by a less than perfect pairing. Just open a bottle you enjoy and start pouring. Good night.
Բնույթ մարմնական վնասվածքների, մկանային և հոդացավերի դեպքում դիմեք Optimum Health Care կենտրոն։ Բժիշկ Կարոն Ալբանդյանն ունի 20 տարիների արդյունավետ բուժման փորձառություն, արդյունավետ եւ կարճաժամկետ բուժում։ Կենտրոնն ունի հարմարավետ եւ ճկուն վճարման ծրագրեր։ Medical եւ Medicare ծրագրերը չեն ծածկում կենտրոնի ծառայությունները։ Զանգահարեք Optimum Healthcare կենտրոն։
Vines. Vines are such an inevitable part of the winemaking, of the wine. The vines go through a life cycle just like people. One of the most important parts of the vines is pruning. In wintertime, myself and my friend, we prune our vineyards to ensure proper grapes and proper growth. This next segment is going to be about pruning and about reviving a vineyard. And it's also so symbolic that the family has repatriated to Armenia 200 years ago. They established their vineyard and now they are reunited with these 200-year-old vines, and they are pruning in hopes, and it's going to revive the vineyard and it's going to bring new vines, new grapes, new wines, and new life. Avak Harutyunyan and his family are going to show us how they are pruning their 200-year-old vineyard.
So now we are at our ancestral vineyard and we are trying to bring it into shape. Here we have the best enologists in whole world, Mr. Reiner, and he's trying to manage this big wine. Can you say some words, Reiner?
Yeah, of course. So if we have such a wonderful old wine stock here, we must be careful with the pruning, because this is very old material and something of this old material can damage very quickly. So a lot of things are drying out, and we must be sure that we can have enough material for grape growing this year. And in this case we have two wonderful new branches, and we can use it for the future to rebuild this wine stock. So in 2 or 3 years we can cut or eliminate some parts of these old ones and get very wonderful new ones. And then we are able to have this wine stock for another 20, 30, 40 years. So it depends on the conditions here.
So how
this is very interesting to cut such an old wine stock.
How do you find the shape of the vines, given that they are not really touched in 30 years, not irrigated, not everything? So it's possible to bring them to life, and
it's possible to bring them to life, but it takes time. It's not in this year, but next or over next year we can have a real yield. The problem is at the moment we have very short branches here and very close and nearby internodias, and so the ripening process of the wooden parts is only in short parts there given, and we have a lot of branches, and so the yield will be in this way very, very low. You have only single berries, small berries, and if we cut them a little bit more and reduce the whole capacity, then the wine stock will bring also more yield for us and better quality.
And surprisingly, I mean, it's surprising to see that the vines, we don't see this traces of diseases like the mildews, because they are in their natural habitat. No one pruned them, and no interventions, and they're.
Yeah, I think here up in this altitude, it's very difficult to bring this mildew. Because we are far away from the other vineyards there, and the only possibility is to come with the wind. And the next vineyard at Getab, or the next big ones in Getab, are far away, and so the conditions are very good to be healthy enough. And so, all the best for this wonderful old vineyard.
Thanks, Rainer. Մենք գտնվում ենք մեր նախնյաց այգում, 1650 մետր ծովի մակարդակից բարձր։ Այգին ըստ երևույթին տնկված է 1828-ից մի քանի տարի հետո, երբ որ վերագաղթեցին արդեն արտաբույն գյուղ, եւ ավագը հիմա կյանքի է կոչում իր նախնիների խաղողի արդեն ծառա։ Ոնց եք էտում, ավակ ջան։
Այգին մենք գնացինք նախկին տերերից, որոնց բաժին էր հասել
1928-27 թվականներին կոլեկտիվացումից հետո մեր ընտանիքից վերցրեցին եւ վերջին 30 տարին այդ մարդիկ անխնամ են թողել, միշտ չեն մտել, կարողացանք այս տարի իրեն գնել այգին եւ հիմա փորձում են վերականգնել հրաշքով կանգուն մնացած 200 տարեկան մոտավորապես 150 տարեկան վազերը։ Հիմա այս տարի չենք ակնկալում որևէ բերք, ուղղակի փորձում ենք հասկանալ որը կվերականգնվի, որը չի վերականգնվի, եկող տարի արդեն բերքատու օղակները կազմենք։ Համբա։
Artaxerxes I, the king of Armenia, was keeping prisoner the prince of the Alans, despite the promise of his father, the king of the Alans, not to invade Armenia. It was the prince's sister, Saturnig, who, through her wise words, convinced King Artaxerxes to free her brother. He also fell deeply in love with her, and they soon married. Their marriage reconciled two belligerent nations and changed the course of history. Sometimes legends like this give us opportunity to reflect and remind us that we all have a chance to create history in the present moment. Sateh is a taste of this beautiful legend.
Բարև ձեզ, ես Հայկ Մանուկյանն եմ, մասնագիտությամբ սոմելիե։ Այսօր ձեզ հետ համառոտ կխոսեմ սոմելիեի մասնագիտության մասին։ Շատ դեպքերում մարդիկ շփոթում են գինեգործի եւ սոմելիեի մասնագիտությունները։ Գինեգործ այն անձն է, ով մշակում է խաղողի այգին եւ ստացված խաղողը վերածում գինու, իսկ սոմելիեի հիմնական դերը ռեստորանում այն ճիշտ ներկայացնելը եւ մատուցելն է։ Սոմելիեին է վստահված ոչ միայն գինիների, այլ նաեւ այլ ալկոհոլային խմիչքների սպասարկման եւ խորհրդատվության դերը։ Շատ կարևոր է, որպեսզի սոմելիեն սերտ համագործակցի տվյալ ռեստորանի խոհանոցի հետ, որպեսզի իր իսկ առաջարկած գինին դրացնի հաճախորդի ընտրած ուտեստը եւ հաճելի լինի քիմքին։ Սոմելիեի դերը շատ կարևոր է ռեստորանում։ Անկասկած պետք է մեծ փորձ ունենալ ուտեստների եւ գինու զուգավորման տեխնիկայում։ Կարևոր է սոմելիե հաճախորդ շփումը, քանի որ սոմելիեն շատ կարճ ժամանակահատվածում պետք է հասկանա այն ուղղությունը եւ համերը, որոնք հաճախորդը ցանկանում է վայելել։ Նաև պետք է ունենալ ճիշտ պատկերացում հաճախորդի բյուջեի սահմանների մասին, որպեսզի առաջարկել այնպիսի գինի, որը հաճելի կլինի թե գնային, թե համային առումներով։ Շատ կարևոր է գինեգործ սոմելիե կապը։ Սոմելիեն հանդիսանում է գինեգործի դեսպանը։ Այդ իսկ պատճառով նա պետք է հաճախակի հանդիպի գինեգործին, տեղյակ լինի նրա աշխատելավոճից, խաղողի տեսակներից, հողի կառուցվածքից եւ գինեգործի փիլիսոփայությունից, որpիսի հետագայում նա ճիշտ կարողանալ այն ներկայացնի հաճախորդներին։ Եվ վերջապես սոմելիեի մասնագիտությունը պահանջում է սեր ոչ միայն գինու, այլ նաեւ մարդկային շփման համար։ Պետք է լինել բարեկիրթ, համբերատար եւ լսող, որովհետեւ գունային եւ համային ճաշակները տարբեր են մարդկանց մոտ։ Ֆրանսիական ասացվածն ասում է. կյանքը շատ կարճ է, որpիսի խմենք վատ գինի, այնպես որ խմեք լավ գինի եւ առողջ եղեք։
Բարի լույս։ Դուք ընտրեցիք Հայկ Մանուկյանը, ուր Ֆրանսիայեն ցեզ ներկայացրեց իր Սոմալիեի ճաշտոնով, թե ինչեր կարելի է անել։ Ինչպես որ գիտեք, յուրաքանչյուր քինի փառատոնին կամ GiniFest-ի ընթացքին ինձ համար շատ կարևոր է հայկական արվեստը ներկայացնել։ Եվ ամեն տարի, անցյալ 2 տարիներին միշտ ներկա եղող մարդիկ պետք է անպայման հայկական արվեստի դաղավարեն անցնեն, այս Armenian Arts Marketplace-ն անցնեն, որ հետո երթան քինիները կամ ըմբելիները համդեսեն։ Քանի որ առանց մշակույթի ոչ մեկ ազգ չի կարող գոյատևել եւ անհրաժեշտ է որ թիգուն կաննենք յուրաքանչյուր հայ ստեղծագործողին։ Այս տարվա, որ պիտի գայանա անցամբ ներկա պիտի գտնվիկ, հուլիսի 25-ին գիրագյորը Castaways ճաշարանի տարածքի մեջ հայկական արվեստի տաղավարը Armenian Arts Marketplace-ը պիտի հյուրընկալի մի շարք ստեղծագործողներ։ Նրանցից են Անահիտ Company ընկերությունը, որը ներկայացուցիչ է Եվա Մանուչարյանն է մեր հետ։ Բարի ես եկած Եվա։
Շնորհակալ եմ. It's a pleasure to be here.
Same here. Could you explain to us what is Anahit Co and what do you do?
So we are an online store where we present the Armenian culture in an innovative, creative, and a creative way, not only to our past, present, and future generations, but we also want to elevate it to the international platform. Mm-hmm. So we have various merchandise and products that are designed in a very creative way to present our culture. Mm-hmm. And one of our main purposes is to bring people together, bring different artists and designers together in our Armenian community, in the diaspora and in Armenia. Mm-hmm. And we are really driven by that goal. And I wanted to present to you and everybody else our newest initiative, which is a collaboration with Artsakh Art in Armenia called Ellipses, which is Bazmaket. It is a digital art showcase that we actually launched today, virtually.
On what site?
It is, you could go to Anahit Company website, or it is ellipses.website/exhibit.
Mm-hmm. Anahitco.com.
Anahitco.com, yes. and you could view the exhibit virtually. And I would actually like to turn it over to Shushan, who represents Artsakh Art, for her to talk about this collaboration a little bit further.
Alright. Well, սերներ ինչպես որ տեսակ արվեստի միջավայրի մեջ Հայաստան սպիրկ համագործակցություն, քանի ինչպես որ գիտեք, ծեր դրամները Ամերիկայի մեջ են, իսկ հայ արվեստագետը Հայաստանի մեջ գարիք ունի ծեր դրամին։ Ինչպես որ գիտեք, Փարթամյանի սկզբունքը միշտ եղած է ծեր դրամով հայկական մշակույթը առաջ տանել։ Բարև Շուշան, ինչպես ես։
Բարև, ես լավ եմ, դուք ինչպես եք։
Լավ, Շուշան, կարող ես մեզի բացատրել ծեր գործունեությունը Արցախի արվեստի։
Բազմագետը մեր առաջին համագործակցությունն է Անահիտ Քոյի հետ։ Արդեն ինչպես որ Եվան ասավ, մենք virtual launch-ը ըրինք եւ շուտով դեղի պիտի ունենա physical actual մեր ցուցահանդեսը միասին։ Արցախ Արտը ստեղծվեցավ պատերազմին առաջին օրերուն եւ մեր նպատակն էր դարբեր արվեստի գործեր, որոնք նվիրված էին պատերազմին եւ Արցախին, համախմբել մեկտեղ եւ ներկայացնել թե Սփյուռքին եւ թե Հայաստանին եւ թե Արցախին։ Եվ ընթացքին զարգացավ գաղափարը ավելի եւ հիմա մեր համագործակցությունն է Անահիտ Քոյի հետ, որում գաղափարն է բազմագետը, այսինքն այն լրությունը, որ կբարունագե մեր բոլոր հույսերը, մտքերը, զգացումները եւ նաեւ հիշեցումն է այս ցուցահանդեսը, որ մարդկային ոգին միշտ կարիք ունի գայունության, գարեկտանքի եւ աճի։ Եվ ներկայացուցած նկարիչները կուքան Հայաստանեն եւ Սփյուռքեն եւ այս գաղափարն է, որ իրենց արվեստի գործերու միջոցով կփոխանցեն եւ պիտի վաճառենք տարբեր չափերու printer Անահիտ Քոյին website-ին եւ նաեւ տարբեր merchandise եւ մեր հասույթին մեկ մասը պիտի նվիրաբերվի Homeland Defender Rehabilitation Center-ին, հայրենիքի պաշտպան վերականգնողական կենտրոնին եւ մեկ մասնալ մեր մասնագետ արտիստներին պիտի վերադարձվի որպես իրենց support։
Հոյագապ, եւ ավասիկ բացահայտ է, որ գոկտակորձեք աժմիական թվային դարբերակը ցուցահանդեսը գդարելու համար նախ ինչպես որ միշտ ասեմ before the actual let's do the virtual նախքան իսկականը գդարում ենք թվային դարբերակը շնորհակալություն ձեր մասնակցության համար եւ կգնաս քիչ մտածել որ ուդեր պիտի որոշված է ուր պիտի կայանա իսկականը
իսկական ցուցահանդեսը դեռ չի որոշված մենք ճիշտը որ ասեմ դեռ փնտրում ենք գալերիա so եթե ինչ որ մեկը դիտողներից մեզ կուզի աջակցել, խնդրում ենք մեր հետ կապի մեջ մտնեք, դեռ չի որոշված, բայց հուսով ենք, որ մինչև հունիսին կլինի եւ արդեն խոսում ենք մենք տարբեր գալերիաների հետ, հուսով եմ, որ շուտով կորոշվի։
Նախ ցուցահանդեսը պիտի լինի թվային դարբերակով։
Virtual, it's already up, այո, արդեն
այսօր կարող են երթալ եւ anahit.co.com երթալ եւ
anahit.co.com ellipsis բազմակետ ցուցահանդես
ցուցահանդեսը եւ ինչու՞ չէ եւ որ իսկական GiniFest-ը կբադայի, Gini Paradon-ը կբադայի, այդտեղ մարդիկ անցամբ կգնան գալ եւ տեսնել որոշ գործեր եւ այդ բոլոր աշխատանքը որ կկատարվի։ Շատ շնորհակալություն։
Նմանապես։
Սեներ այժմ անցնենք տեսահոլովակներին, որտեղ ամիջապես ետ կվերադառնա մեր այսօրվա Gini համդեսության կամ խաղապարների ընձայումը եւ ներկայացումը հաջորդը կլինի Trinity Canyon Wineries.
Kitchen Culture is a national boutique recruiting firm that finds senior managers and corporate candidates for food service businesses. I used to be a chef myself. I'm here today to emphasize the importance of our food culture and in turn programs like GiniFest during these trying times. We're living in a time where our enemies are trying to erase us and to destroy our culture. From my perspective, our food and its history is one of the few things that cannot be taken from us. It's a resource that isn't tangible, items that cannot be bombed, ground down, or stolen. Yet it is something that pulls us together and commands the attention of others around us to support our cause. Many are already actively preserving and reviving our Armenian food and drink culture. As we do this, we're weaving a more solid thread between generations of Armenians while also successfully bringing together Armenians of different origins and backgrounds. Food is the great uniter. It has no politics, no biases. A dish is delicious or it is not. This is something that can keep us going, and we need to keep going. We should dive into this realm with our grandparents, children, and our neighbors. We should roll up our sleeves and learn how to cook the previous generation's repertoire of food, one dish at a time, and in order to preserve our culture. This is in order to fortify our families both through the nourishment of the food and the time spent together. Lastly, let's not forget how delicious our food is and how inviting and warm our hospitality is. Something that has gained the attention of food media, and with it, highlighting to the world the bigger issues and obstacles we as Armenians face. What better way to get into people's ears and hearts than through their stomach? So here we have it. Cheers to us and all whom we have at our tables. May they always be full of great conversation, health, love, and prosperity. Thank you for having me here.
Distractions. They're a part of our everyday life, but some can be more devastating than others. In a split second, an unexpected car accident can result in traumatic neck and back injuries. But thankfully, there's the Advanced Chiropractic Wellness Center, led by Dr. Marine Papazian, who specializes in chiropractic treatments for car accident victims. Using the latest techniques and equipment, the Wellness Center is one of the best chiropractic rehab facilities in the Valley. If you're in pain, give us a call today.
Wines of Armenia, from the ancient Ararat Valley, Voskini, to traditions passed through the Silk Road, Old Bridge, now available at Jones Markets, Remedy Liquor, Vendome Wines and Spirits, House of Liquor, and other fine wine stores. Wines of Armenia.
Levon Travel, ինչպես միշտ վստահելի եւ պրոֆեսիոնալ, արագ եւ լավագույն գներով։ Հանդիսանալով American Express գործակալության ներկայացուցիչ Levon Travel-ը առաջարկում է մատչելի ավիատոմսեր ու գրավիչ տուրիստական փաթեթներ հետևյալ եւ այլ ուղղություններով՝ Հայաստան եւ Արցախ, all inclusive փաթեթներ Մեքսիկո եւ Կարիբյան, մեղրամսի փաթեթներ դեպի Բահամա, Թայիթի եւ Հավայի, խմբային եւ անհատական ուղևորություններ դեպի Իտալիա, Իսպանիա, Ֆրանսիա եւ եվրոպական այլ երկրներ։ Ցանկացած ճամփորդություն սկսում է առաջին քայլից։ Արեք այդ քայլը դեպի Levon Travel։
Dear Armenian and non-Armenian wine lovers across the pond, by way of introduction, my name is Zara Sorobian. I'm the founder of GiniVino, specialist independent wines and spirits merchant importing and distributing exceptional wines from off-beaten path countries to the United Kingdom and Ireland, with Armenia at its heart. As a corporate financier and economist, I never thought I'm going to find my way to the world of wine, let alone establish a successful wine company. Today, GiniVino is famous for its portfolio of off-beaten path wine countries, and I'm proud to say that we have the biggest portfolio of Armenian wines available exclusively to the on-trade hospitality industry. We work with famous sommeliers, master of wines, and wine professionals in promoting our wines here in the United Kingdom. We supply Michelin-star restaurants, hotels, independent wine shops, and private member clubs, including the biggest, most famous wine club in the world, 67 Pall Mall. Today I have come to you with the image of Ararat, a symbol we hold close to our hearts. Our Ararat has got vineyards. According to the ancient writers and travelers, and based on the contemporary archaeological findings, Armenians have been growing wine, making wine, and exporting wine since biblical times. And wine export has been at the core of our economy once. Therefore, these days, as winemaking revives in Armenia, it is our duty to export and promote Armenian wines across the world. Today, Armenia faces challenging times. And with this glass of Armenian Noir, I would like to drink to you all, to Armenia, to Artsakh, to our phenomenal winemaking heritage, to its traditions, to our indigenous grape varieties, and to the brilliant future of winemaking of Armenia. To you all, to Armenian wine.
Thank you, Crystal. Thank you for your message. It is very important to preserve our culture through the food. And thank you, Zara, for sending this message all the way from England. We are so excited to have an importer and distributor like you in United Kingdom who is bringing in Armenian wines and getting the people in UK excited about Armenian wine, about Armenian wine industry, and about Armenia. Our next guest, I think we woke them up already in Armenia. It's morning, so we are going straight to Armenia. We are going to have Mariam Sagatelian first of Trinity Vineyards and Invino. Hi, Mariam Jan, how are you?
Cheers, Anushjan. I'm fine.
Cheers.
How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for being part of the GiniFest and GiniFest family. For those who don't know about Trinity Vineyards, why don't you share a little bit where you're located, what are the wines that you produce, and what is your main concentration?
So, hi everyone. Bari Ereko Zedmot, Bari Luis Zedmot. We moved back from California in 2009 and bought vineyards in Aghavnadzor, Vayotzdor. This is where Trinity Canyon Vineyards is located. And we started producing a variety of wines, including the one Anush has in her glass, the 6100 wine. I currently have the rosé here. And the meaning behind it, of course, is the ancient Arani wine cave. And soon the rosé will be there in California and in all of the United States, hopefully very soon. But besides this, what we find very important is organic viticulture and winemaking, which means that we don't add any herbicides and pesticides during the whole production process, especially when the grapes are growing, of course. And besides this, we also produce natural wines. And you know, sometimes people are very skeptical, like, what is a natural wine and how is it different from any other type of wine? Well, for example, the wine I have here right now in my hand, I'll bring it a little closer. This is an orange wine. It's called Nachnyats. So this is the Voskehat grape variety, our indigenous Armenian grape variety, and it's called Nachnyats because our ancestors made wine in the same way in the Arani wine cave. And besides being natural, our certain wines are certified organic as well, so we choose to add less sulfur and actually treat the soil in general. Besides this, we really value all of the workers in Aghavnadzor, all of the farmers, and we are currently underway on a new project to help them produce their own wines. Of course, first of all, we have to help them grow better grapes because throughout times, you know that as Anush said, we have to prune and cut our vines to make sure we get the best quality. So these are our wines. We are currently here, and especially after last year, we had a very interesting kind of time, you know. In any case, we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel and working through our hardships, and we are standing and with our wonderful spurk, and everyone promoting Armenian wine. Very interesting and important, not interesting, to have all this support from all of you. So buy Armenian wines, support the Armenian wine industry, and thank you so much for having me today, Anushjan.
Mariam Jan, thank you so much for being part of GiniFest, and thank you for making this amazing wine. Trinity is one of the first wineries that is certified organic coming from Armenia, and it's such an important sector to be in with all the health concerns and etc. You know, something that we can offer and say, I'm sure a lot of the wines that are made in Armenia are made in the same way, but it takes a while, correct, to go through all certification and the process. But to have you guys as pioneers of, you know, treating the soil right and doing everything the way, you know, just like the ancestors used to do, just like you mentioned, is wonderful. Where are your wines available in the United States for those who are interested, who haven't tried? I don't think there is anyone who haven't tried, but for those who want to try again, where can they purchase your wines?
Well, as you mentioned, we have quite a few producers. One of them was Stepan, who had his distribution. I guess you can find them there, and various other locations. I'm not quite sure exactly now where other places where you can buy our wines, but I'm guessing that Remedy Liquors also has them, and I think Stepan has the largest selection probably of our wines currently. But by the time it gets there, we will share with you all the information regarding where you can buy our wines. We are working to expand, although we only have a production of 20,000 bottles, a very small quantity currently. We are still trying to expand our capacity, and in this case, we will have more wines available in various larger other locations. You can also find them at Malaga Cove Ranch Market. There are friends in Malaga Cove, and in this market you can find our whole selection of wine as well.
Madam Jan, thank you so much for joining once again. Thank you for waking up early and sharing your story. I cannot wait to try the orange wine, the ancestral wine done in the method, and I cannot wait to take it to my friends who are sommeliers who love orange wines and to present them and say, this is an orange wine coming from Armenia. Say hello to your dad, to your mom, to your sister. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again. Cheers, Genat, till the next time. Thank you, Madam Jan. Hաջողություն. Thank you so much for being part of the virtual GiniFest. Our next guest is Matthew Horkey, Uncorking the Caucasus. Matthew is an author of books, and he also has a wonderful YouTube channel where he shows his experiences after he tastes the wines that are not very common. So let's go into his video and see what he has to offer.
Here at Vintage, we have about 50 wines by the glass, and the awesome thing about having that many wines available by the glass is that our guests get to try a ton of wines. So before you commit to a glass, you get to taste through a bunch of things and decide what you like. I think that wine lists sometimes, they're filled with words and places that maybe we're not familiar with, so they can be confusing. And unless, you are a som, you might not know what those words mean. And so when the glass is in front of you and you get to taste through a few reds or a few whites or a few rosés, you get to really decide, what you like and what you want to drink.
Hello, GiniFest team. I hope you have another great edition this year. I commend you with the work focusing on the wines of Armenia, one of the most exciting wine countries I've come across. Beautiful nation as well. It's great, even though I've been locked down, haven't been able to travel, I have been able to taste some new vintages of Armenian wines and some producers have sent over samples, and I'm just astonished by the progress that's happening in the country. I have a YouTube channel dedicated to wine education and fun, and one of its origins, one of the first countries I covered was Armenia. And it's just been an incredible journey since then. Doing this has been super rewarding. Being able to go and taste unique wines, go to amazing countries like Armenia, see the Areni One Cave, have just been priceless experiences. So I hope you have a successful edition this year. Keep drinking Armenian wine and keep drinking adventurously. Snorakanutzion.
Thank you, Rebecca, for sharing how exciting and variety of wines that you have to offer at your wine bar. Usually when people ask me, how can I try new wines, they don't want to buy a whole bottle. So my suggestion is to go find a great wine bar where you can go and taste wines by the glass. You can also take your friends. This way you can share it. So once again, Rebecca, thank you for that message. We are going to come and visit you at Vintage in Studio City. Okay, our next guest is joining again from Armenia, from the very beautiful Ararat Valley. I think this is one of the most breathtaking views that I have ever seen when I visited Armenia. And we have now Karlen from Tushpa. Good morning, how are you?
Good evening. Hi, Anush. I'm very good. Everything is good, all good. How are you? Sorry.
We're wonderful. I am so happy to see everyone's faces. This is almost like seeing each other in person, but hopefully in July, you will come and be part of the in-person GiniFest. So. Karen, why don't you share with us how Tushpa was founded and how did you that location and what are the wines that you produce?
Sorry, it seems we have some technical issue. I guess I just can't hear. Sorry, I missed your question, Anush. But I guess...
It's okay. Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I was asking how did Tushpa Winery start and what was the decision on the location? Did you, how did you end up there in that beautiful picture perfect place and what are the wines that you produce?
Yeah, great. So so we came from Van. So my grandpa came from there, and also my grandma as well. And so they came this village, the Apriakan village, and here is born my father. So and then he decided to make it, create his winery. Actually, he has studied winemaking in Soviet era, my father. And then after the collapse of Soviet Union, he decided to have his own winery. And by the way, I guess you know, right, during the Soviet era, Armenia was mainly producing brandy, port, not the wines that we have currently. So my father decided to have really good wine, which he represented in also in international markets. So that's why he decided to start it. And that was really hard time. It was as harder as now, I guess, I would say. And yeah, he got that courage and he created his dream. So I'm also proud of that. I'm proud to be the family business. And yeah, we are so Arad Valley, so Top Hilton Valley in Arad Valley. The elevation here is about 800 meters, and we produce 3 wines, white, red, and regular red wines, and we use 2 grapes, Armenian native grapes. So one grape for the white is Kangun grape, and the other one for the red is Hakhana grape. And my brother is also a winemaker. So we are 3 children, myself, my brother, and my sister. So my brother is also a winemaker. He creates our white wine. And my father, who's also winemaker and founder, he makes the red wine.
Well, Carlen, I remember when you arrived for the first in-person, well, it was the second in-person GiniFest, but it was first for you, and you arrived in Los Angeles, and it was your first exposure of bringing tushpa, and the amount of excitement and love that everybody showed during the event was huge, and it's just an amazing how you know, the community over here is looking for and striving and wanting to bring Armenian wines, to drink Armenian wines, and also to connect with the Armenian families who make the wine. So all of those people who are so excited, when they book their flights and they come to Armenia, can they visit you, and what do you have to offer at your location?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they can visit us. So we have very nice wine cellar. So I'm in this cellar at the moment. Unfortunately, I can't take the camera and do a quick tour. So yeah, they can visit us. We offer wine tasting tours in the vineyards, and we have. They can also they can learn more on our website about the offers that we do here. Yeah.
And I know that your mom is the person who cooks all the delicious food that is available there if you want to have the lunch. I had the privilege of tasting some of the yummy and delicious goodies that she made. It was wonderful.
Yeah, we try to mainly use local food, everything from here, and yeah, my mom tries to make only Armenian, old Armenian, you know, traditional food. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, Carlen, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for being part of the GiniFest in person and the virtual. And thank you for making those wines, for sharing the culture of wine through your wines with us. Have a good rest of your day. Our next segment is going to be with Paul K. And we have all gone through this routine where you go to the store and you buy the same wine over and over again. And you're wondering, okay, should I buy this wine? But you're not sure because maybe you don't want to pay extra dollars, or maybe you're not sure if you're going to like it as much as it is. So with Paul K, with the original Wine of the Month Club, you have the opportunity to have him make that decision for you. So he's going to go through detail and tell us what a wine club is and what are the advantages and how you can be part of it. Let's go into his video.
Congratulations to GiniFest 2021. So excited to be back in the saddle, back doing wine things. This is Paul Callum carrying from Wine Talks with Paul K, and the owner of the original Wine of the Month Club. I want to talk about wine clubs today because it's so important to belong to a good one, to find one that you trust, to find the people that choose your wines to be trustworthy and send you good value. And it's important. It's kind of like having a good somm at your table, or a good store owner at your wine shop that's recommending wines that you like, that they know you'll try and enjoy. And it's important because I've tasted probably over 100,000 wines in my career. And I can tell you that every Tuesday I taste dozens of really bad wines. Wines that are way overpriced or just aren't very good. And those wines are already made. They're already in the bottle. They're already on the shelf. And so a good wine club will help you find good value and also present you with information about the wines, where they're from, who made them, what the story is. And wine is about the story. It's about the maker. It's about the passion and the commitment of the winemaker to present his or her product in the best possible way. And what is that product? What comes from the soil, the grapes that come from the soil. That's what it's about. So I want to take you on a tour of the wine world through our club, the Wine of the Month Club, or any other club out there that you trust to send you good value. And make sure they have a guarantee that says, look, if you don't like the wine, I'll replace it, because I know I can't please all the palates all the time. It's impossible. Everybody's got a different palate. There are something like 1 trillion different scents that somebody can smell in a wine. So it's impossible to nail down everybody's palate. However, If somebody says this is a good example of a Napa Valley Rutherford Cabernet and you don't care for it, then it should be that you just don't care for that style, and maybe you won't buy a Rutherford Cabernet in the future. And that's how it works. So enjoy, have fun out there in the world of wine. It's such a wonderful subject. You can learn so much. You never stop learning. Congratulations again, GiniFest 2021. Cheers.
Distractions. They're a part of our everyday life, but some can be more devastating than others. In a split second, an unexpected car accident can result in traumatic neck and back injuries. But thankfully, there's the Advanced Chiropractic Wellness Center, led by Dr. Maureen Papazian, who specializes in chiropractic treatments for car accident victims. Using the latest techniques and equipment, the Wellness Center is one of the best chiropractic rehab facilities in the Valley. If you're in pain, give us a call today.
Hi, my name is Krista Kirkchin from LAC Products. I'm a member of the 4th generation of this family business, and I'm happy to share a little bit about who we are. Our company has been in the alcohol industry since 1938 in Lebanon. Even though LAC Products originated in the Middle East, we have called Los Angeles home since 1984. We have been an importer and distributor in the US since then. After the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, our position in the US made it possible for us to be the first importer of Armenian beer, wine, and spirits upon Armenia's independence. Given our 80+ years of experience within the industry, we have built an elaborate network and many positive relationships within the community. Presently, we are the importer of several popular Armenian products, such as Noi Brandy, which originates from the first ever Armenian brandy factory in Yerevan, dating back to 1888. Here, we have the first ever vintage Noi brandy from 2008. We also import Tigran the Great brandy from the Yeros factory, which is in the southern region of Armenia. Yeros introduced the first ever Armenian whiskey just this past year, named Highland Armenian Whiskey, which has already made a significant impact in the community, winning awards and sending shockwaves throughout the industry. We are also the proud importers of Bedi Alko, which has a vast portfolio of wines, including award winners in the dessert wine category. Another timely product which we have imported from Bedi Alko is Spiritus, a 96% grain alcohol that has served the community's need for sanitation during this ongoing global pandemic. Bedi Alko also has brandies such as Yerevansi and others, including Saint Grigor, which comes from the same region. Next, we'll be talking about my personal favorite, wine. Which type of wine is my favorite? Well, that depends on the meal, but here we have a great selection of Armenian wines to choose from. We import Trinity, Vanardi, Kur, and we recently added Tushba. On a hot summer day, I'll take a chilled rosé like this Vanardi one. With a nice steak dinner or a charcuterie board, I'll take any of these delicious red wines. With chicken or fish, I'll take white wine, such as Kurs. But you can't go wrong we have put together a tasting panel that conducts monthly wine tastings that includes a winemaker, a sommelier, and just wine lovers. Our goal is to introduce the diaspora to our selection of Armenian alcoholic beverages. We want to do our best to represent our country well and have you join the Armenian wine renaissance. We are proud to report that all the companies we have here are completely owned and operated by Armenians without foreign investment. And lastly, we just want to say thank you to GiniFest for hosting this event.
Welcome back. We have another winery joining us all the way from Armenia. This time we have Vanardi and we have Nane with us on Zoom. Hi Nane, good morning. Bari Luis.
Bari Luis, thank you for having us. It's a great privilege.
And thank you for making this amazing wine and sharing the bounty that Armenia has to offer with us and with the world. Nanejan, why don't you share with us when Vanardi did get started, how and why, and what are the wines that you produce?
Yes, of course. So Vanardi is a family project that all started when a professional accountant decided that he was in love with wine. And after that, there was no turning back. That same accountant is my father. And cut to about 15, 20 years later, here we are with some award-winning wines and trying to put Armenia on the map of the wine world internationally. So it all started when my father decided that he would change his profession, and with the support of his family, of course, we moved to Armenia. But before that, he had already bought lands in the Aragatsotun region of Armenia, which is where our winery and production are. And so during this whole time, the approach really has been a unique one. We have a unique philosophy of organic approach towards wine, which means that we implement a sort of biodynamic approach when it comes to our grapes. For us, good wine is principally based on good grapes. So we make sure that during their life cycle, our grapes listen to music, which of course changes the structure of the water molecules and helps them grow better. There's always good energy, and of course the people that surround our project are very important, which is why we tend to stay so passionate about it. Yes, and we have wines right now that you see behind me. We have white, rosé, and red, as well as our reserves. And also our newest line is Tortori, which you see these two in the middle. Tortori is our newest line, and it is a fresher approach. We have a white one and a red one.
So what is the difference between Tortori and your regular lineup?
In reality, the grapes come from the same vineyards, our vineyards. However, the difference in approach is that the difference in the wine is it's fresher. It's made for a more European palate, and we think that it'll be more suitable for younger drinkers.
That's amazing. It's wonderful to have wine, diverse line, so that it can appeal to different buyers, to different countries, to different regions, because in the United States, maybe in the New World, the wines tend to be a little bit, not sweet, but tending towards a little bit more plush, fuller body, and the European market likes a little bit more lesser alcohol and more leaner wines. I wanted to ask you, I know that there is a bell on your property, and if you don't mind sharing, what is the story behind the bell?
Yes, we do have a bell tower, and once you come to our winery, this is a very prominent part of the energy that we try to create. So our bell, it was actually a gift from my grandfather to my father during the process of creating Vanardi. And once that bell tower was up, I have to tell you, it just creates a new energy. It rises above the vineyards, and from it you can see Ararat and the rest of the vineyards. And the bell is sounded multiple times a day. And again, because of this energy that the sound waves give to the vineyards, we feel it gives us energy and it gives the grapes energy, and it becomes a very symbiotic process.
I love it. I love it so much. For me, the wine is not just an alcoholic beverage. There is so much more. And, you know, when you listen to stories like your families, you know, how much energy, how much soul you put into that to create the wine. It's just not just growing the grapes and making into the wine, but so much thought goes into that. That's amazing, and it does show through the wine. Your wine has a wonderful energy. I know that you have won lots of awards on the international competitions. Where are your wines available in the U.S. market?
Yeah, so in the U.S. market, we of course, it's a great market to be present in. Our main store that you can find us in is Cedar Wines. I'm sure you know, as well as Crush on more of the East Coast.
Wonderful. So for those who have not tried Van Ardy wines, cedarwine.com, they are available. They ship all across the United States. So Van Ardy is available there, along as the Trinity and Tushpa. All of those three wines are available on their websites. And we, a few minutes ago, we saw their commercial. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Thank you for waking up and being part of the virtual GiniFest. We really hope to see you here in Los Angeles for our in-person GiniFest. Of course, we will come and visit you, which really quickly, if we come visit, do you have a tasting room? Can you host visitors?
Yes, so that is a very important part, and we are growing to see so many more people eager to come see us. We have daily tours, we have events, we have the venue for events. So we have many weddings coming up this year. We've had engagements, we had christenings, we had birthdays. So it's a great thing to see people coming and trying to understand how real the energy is that we have. And yes, we have daily tours that include winemaking, a tour of the vineyards, and lunch. And the lunch is actually prepared by my mother, who is a great chef.
Yeah, well, I cannot wait. On my last trip, I wasn't able to visit. For my next trip, I am going to make sure I come visit Van Ardy. I'm going to make sure I bring friends. And I can't wait to hear that bell and to feel it in my body and drink the wine. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Please say hello to your family.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers to you. Congratulations for making this wonderful wine. Thank you so much. Have a rest of good.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your day.
Have a good rest of the evening.
Cheers, everyone.
Եվ այսպեսով վերջ կուքա այսօրվա մեր ծրագիրը, արդեն 2 ժամ անցուցինք։ Սեներ քինի պարադոնը անհրաժեշտ է Ամերիկայի Միացյալ Նահանգներում մեջ, քանի յուրահատուկ մինագն է, որ կներկայացնի հայկական քինին կամ քինիներ հայերու գոմե պատրաստված։ Մի մորնակ հուլիսի 25-ին գիրագի երեգոյան Castaways-ի մեջ տեղի կունենա անցամբ ծեր ներկայությամբ քինի Paradona coaching. Anusha, thank you very much for hosting the evening. You as the director of GiniFest, I am so fortunate to have you. If I am the founder, then you're the director. I'm so fortunate to have you because I deal the business end, you deal the wine end. And we have created a very good group of 2 individuals and other people that are supporting us in introducing Armenian wine to the 11 million residents of Southern California. Here is cheers for you. Please give your...
Thank you, Stepan. First of all, I want to thank you for coming up with this amazing idea of GiniFest, of featuring and for promoting Armenian wine, because like we talked about this, it's not enough to make the wine. It takes a lot of effort to bring it to another country and to promote and get people excited. So thank you for including me, for being the part of the GiniFest. It's my absolute honor, it's my pleasure, and I think we make a great team. And everybody else who is part of the family, the GiniFest family, everyone who sent your videos, who took time out of your busy schedules, we are so appreciative for sharing your knowledge, for giving all the tips, and for inviting us into your lives. Thank you so much. We can't wait for the in-person GiniFest. Don't forget that there is 2 tickets are going to be given away for the 2 VIP tickets. So all you need to do is share this video, tag us, make sure either Stepan or maybe all of us, Stepan, GiniFest, and myself, and we will choose the lucky winner, and then you will be part of the VIP group.
There you go. Very limited tickets for the VIP, but ample tickets for the regular. Remember, every time you hold a glass of wine, remember, the Armenian root of the wine is kini. And celebration of life starts from the word, one word, Armenian word, which is genats. Utilize it all the time, regardless where you are on this planet. Remember, the planet is Armenian, the wine is Armenian, and the word genats is Armenian too.
Cheers, genats.
Till we see you July 25th.
Remedy Liqueur խանութ սրահ, որտեղ կարող եք ձեռք բերել խմիչքների ձեր նախընտրած տեսականին։ Remedy Liqueur, ընտրության բացառիկ հնարավորություն։ Բարձրակարգ սպասարկում տեղում, ինչպես նաև հեռախոսով, ինտերնետով եւ մոբայլ ափի միջոցով։ Օգտվեք մեր այս ծառայություններից օրվա ցանկացած ժամին ցանկացած վայրում։ Ձեր պատվերները կառաքվեն անմիջապես։ Remedy Liqueur, մեծ տեսականի լավագույն արժեքներով։ Remedy Liqueur 818 549 1055